Hi, my lovelies. Welcome to Love, Lauren, where we discover the beauty within so that we can experience it all around us. Looking into our own darkness isn't an easy work, but it is necessary to clear the patterns and programs running quietly in the background. So come on in, take your shoes off, get comfortable, and grab your drink of choice. And if you're ready to meet the most authentic version of yourself, welcome home. Hi, loves. How are y'all feeling? Happy Saturn-Day. Happy 9-Day. Happy Ishtar Eve. Ashe to Ishtar. Ashe to Inanna. Ashe to Astarte. Goddesses of fertility. If you notice, or if you haven't heard of these goddesses, but one sounds a lot like Ishtar, Ishtar and Easter. So I want to give a shout out to those goddesses. Happy Easter Eve if you do celebrate. Shouts out to and welcoming in our ancestors, both known and unknown, that rock with us and who have our highest and greatest good at the forefront of their hearts and minds. Shouts out to and welcome into our ascended ancestors. Giving thanks to my ancestors, giving thanks for all of the determination, for the hard work, for the perseverance, for the love, for the groundwork, for all the things, all the information, all the power, all the wisdom. There's not even enough words. But give thanks to them. And we are reporting live from the kitchen, which for me, this is where I connect the most with my ancestors. And it wasn't until I started doing my ancestor veneration that it allowed me to start noticing the patterns on both sides of my family. And one day I was sitting, so on my dad's side, excuse me, that's your barbecue. That's your barbecue, that's your gumbo, that's your barbecue. I'm gonna say it again, that's your barbecue. That's your crawfish boils. That's your fudge candy. That's your sweet potato pie. That's your And then on my mom's side, that's your jambalaya. That's your crawfish etouffee. That's your chocolate cake. That's your drop biscuits. That's your frosted delights. Ooh wee. That's your crawfish etouffee. That's your that's your brownies. That's your more heavy on the baked goods and the Cajun cuisine. Because my dad's side of the family, my granny and grandpa, they were born in Louisiana, but then they ended up migrating to Houston. And then my mom's family, they stayed in Louisiana. So it's like that blend of both. So I say to them, but I say that to say that I was sitting there one day talking to my ancestors, and they were like, cooking is our superpower. And I was like, oh, it wasn't because on both sides, that's where it is. That's how the love is shown. That's how the community, that's where community really comes in when we were outside. It would be outside of my granny's house at the crawfish boils or with the barbecue, or when my dad was still living and he'd be on the grill and that stuff. And then my mom with the cake, and then that would be what she brings. And then my tante and my auntie and my cousins, it's the cooking, it's the food, and that is our magic. So that is why we are gathering here in the kitchen today to talk about ancestor veneration, and why it is important. And this is something that I learned. So if anybody, thank you, if anybody is feeling, how do you say that word? Shit. Ooh, trepidatious, feeling fearful or afraid, but you on one side you feel a call, like you feel your ancestors calling. You see things, and it's like I'm seeing somebody. There's steadily stuff popping up on your timeline and your TikTok about ancestor altar and veneration. And I want to be very clear: we do not worship our ancestors. We honor them. We venerate them. We communicate with them. We learn from them. We work with them. It is not setting anything up above us. This is very important. And I say that because when I first started, I was very, I took my Catholicism background and then non-denominational background that was still running, and I moved it into spirituality and ancestor veneration. So what that looked like was very rigid in my approach to setting up my altar, and feeling like if I didn't have it just right, that the ancestors were going to be mad at me, aka God. Because now, instead of Jesus and God, it was my ancestors, right? So it was very, and then I'm watching videos and people telling me, and people that know what they're doing, right? And so I'm like, because I got to get it right, because I don't want my ancestors to be mad at me. Because if my ancestors are mad at me, then they're going to punish me. And then my road won't be opened. And then da-da-da-da-da. And then they won't put a good word in for me with the spirit team, with the spirit realm. And then they're going to be mad at me. And it's going to backfire. And then... And what happened in that rigidity was that I wasn't allowing for what my ancestors were desiring and how they wanted to connect with me. Sometimes it looks like just singing and dancing. Sometimes it looks like making some drop biscuits or coming in here and creating some Italian dish that should, me, Lauren, I don't know none of that. But when I connect and I just start putting the ingredients together and I come up with a dish that is actually a dish that I knew nothing about, that is what my ancestor veneration looks like. So I share that to say that if you feel called to do something outside of the box, that is okay. And I even say that is more powerful, because that is the true connection with you and your ancestors, because all of our ancestors are different. Hell, we're different. And then that is showing up within us and realizing that our ancestors are within us. And being very clear when you set that intention out, I only want the ancestors that rock with me. I only want the ancestors that love me and that really are here to help me on this path, on this assignment that I signed up for. Like, this is how I started talking. But it was once I came out of the fear of that. And that just comes with, you know, being gentle with yourself and allowing your spirit to speak, allowing for your intuition. Even sometimes, y'all, it might seem crazy as all get out. There was that one point, goat cheese, goat cheese, goat cheese, goats, 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 goats. I was like, what the fuck? Like, that doesn't make sense to me. And I was ignoring it, but that was one of my ancestors. Like, that was my uncle, and I forgot he had goats. So it may not seem logical. And that's the thing, like spirit has nothing to do with logical. It has nothing to do with this and everything to do with this. And you know, the water, right now I have a cigar. Sometimes they want some weed. So I blow out that candle, which I need to get another one, like candle. If you want to put out, like if someone has some cigarettes, if you want, like, here's the thing. Okay, I say that to say, because I was very rigid, because I was like, okay, I got to have my 4 elements: your earth, your air, your water, and your fire, right? So I would have the incense for the air. We got the candle for the fire. I would have, I had like some crystals at some time to represent the earth element, and then the water. And I was doing what I thought was right, but it's like, I don't really want that crystal. Like, what is that? That had, now if you want to put some coins out, and that be representative of earth for us, then we can do that. But it's just that allowing spirit and your ancestors to move through you so that you can set it up however. Because now my altar is in the kitchen. Because I had it at one thing, but you could tell the energy was like, it was stale, and it was tight, and it was too confined. But here you can feel the movement and the freedom, and like, shit, we like to party and dance and have a good time and talk shit. So, and also, so like sometimes it might call for like some dominoes, or I don't know, cards, spades, whatever it is. But yeah, it can be whatever it is that you and your ancestors desire and require. And I'm also hearing this, like, turn out the outside noise. That was also very important, to cut off. Because, like, imagine this, right? If everybody is doing the same magic. If everybody's doing the same magic, and if everybody's thing is like this, and everybody's like, okay, I got to do it this way, or, you know, or the fire and brimstone is going to be, you know, rained upon me, or however. Do you think that is powerful and potent? First of all, is a whole bunch of people doing it. I mean, under these circumstances, because on the other side, a lot of people coming together for ritual is very powerful. So we'll just put it over there. But I'm saying we'll just keep it strictly with here, with your personal relationship with your ancestors, and then bringing in the stress of not wanting to get it wrong. And that's another thing. When moving out of a space of love and connection, and not coming for like, what are y'all gonna do for me? That's another thing. What are y'all gonna do for me? And da-da-da-da. Like, leave that shit at the door. Come open and wanting to connect, and wanting to remember, and wanting to learn, and wanting to pour into. It's a symbiotic relationship. It's a reciprocal relationship. The alarm went off. It was 11:22. Oh my goodness. It was 11:22. My God, today. So new beginnings, an abundance of new beginnings, a shit ton of balance, brings in, that's 4 plus. Y'all, spirit is so perfect. Wait. Let me make sure I got my math right. Hold on. Because 1 plus 1 is 2. 2 plus 2 is 4. 4 plus 2 is 6. Oh my God. Brings in a new relationship with the family, ancestors. Oh, wee, that's so good. That's so good. That's so good. Ooh, that's so good. I love it. Y'all, I love this shit. I love this shit. I love this shit. And that's okay. Now we gonna bring it in, because I was like, I know that this is all gonna flow. Spirit is so perfect. Bringing in a new relationship with family, and I'm gonna share now how. And if you have any questions, let's not jump all over. If you do have any questions, and if you feel like you need to just like talk anything out, please feel free to comment, reach out. And know that, like, my God, today, there is no enemy without. So once the enemy within is conquered, the enemy without, I don't think I'm saying that right, but there's a quote. It's like, once the enemy within is conquered or something, the enemy without no longer exists. That is not what that quote says, but you get the gist of it. So there's nobody like waiting for you to fuck it up. It doesn't, and I think this is really important that we continue to come back to this point, because especially if you did grow up in Christianity, and then depending on the type, I'm hearing the word sect, the sect of Christianity, then, it can, depending, like, God shows up a lot different. So especially if the God that you were told created you also like thinks that you ain't shit. It is just waiting with that red button to push you. Then it can be like that shit is not easy to be like, okay, one and done. So please, at all, if anything comes up while you are embarking on this journey, please, like, let's talk about it. Even if you are like, hey, I don't need you to say anything, I just want to like get this out, because sometimes we just need somebody to hear so we can get that thing outside of here, put some air to it. How ancestor veneration has helped me and continues to help me with grief. So now, because our ancestors, like, the energy can't die. Energy can never die. It can just transition into something else. So it's still accessible. And then our ancestors they're within us, like within our blood, the DNA, like we are them and they are us. So communication is still possible. Yes, it will be different, because there is not this meat suit that has like the vocal cords, and and we can't like physically hold or be held by that ancestor anymore in this way. But my God, today the energy can still envelop you. It's more potent because it's not confined or constricted by this. Like, that's so expansive. But when I first started getting my altar together, at this time both my dad and my granny were still living, and my granny is my dad's mom. So they were still living. And so it's like, okay, I got the altar, but it's my family, but no one as close as these two. So I didn't realize that. I think that was also me preparing ahead of time that like two of the most important people in my life were about to transition. And so it's like, okay, yeah, like, you know, ancestor altar, ancestor veneration. And then what happens when like now my grandmother, my granny, and my dad have transitioned. So now it's like that shit, it got really real really fast. Granny transitioned April of 2020. So she didn't even have like the full-on funeral services. So that was postponed because of COVID. Then my dad transitioned a year later, day after his 65th birthday. And it was, they were both unexpected. Like it wasn't that they had any illnesses that would say like, hey, you know, we have some time to prepare. It was both unexpected. So that was some heavy ass shit. That was some heavy stuff. So it was like, damn, like I'm putting my granny's picture on this here altar, and this is how I have to communicate with my granny. And now I'm putting my dad's picture on this altar, and my dad's artifacts on this altar, and my dad's cigars on this altar. Like, y'all, that shit was surreal. And there's no amount of, there was no amount of preparation for that. And I didn't realize that I hadn't fully processed my grief until it was after I did that video, that I just posted. And when I mentioned like the things that my 7-year had taught me, and that anger was one of them, but I didn't realize up underneath that anger was grief. And Spirit is so perfect. And so me recording that video and acknowledging the anger again allowed for grief to show itself to me and all this stuff. And I didn't realize that there was grief still under there, and that I hadn't really like processed it, that I lost two very important people in a pretty short amount of time, and that I couldn't, you know, it still was like I was still missing them and longing for them, like to pick up the phone, even though like I joke with my dad. Like he'll like come in and do I'll be right back. Come in, random stuff, like when I am having difficult moments or like stuff going on with the car, and then it was like he still helped, because that would be the person that would help me with car stuff. That was my dad. You know what? This shit is crazy. This shit is crazy. Literally had car stuff going on this week, and that was what allowed it to really bubble up. And it was like, okay. It's like, okay, we'll just check in and listen. Okay. The help is still accessible. So I say that to say that the help is still accessible. The wisdom is still there. The comfort is still there. The guidance is still there. It's just different, and it takes, it might look a little different. So, you know, if there are those people, baby, if there are those people that you miss them dearly, and you know they hear you talking, and this is an answer to you talking, and they're letting you know, like, we're here, like we have you, we want to connect with you, and we want to communicate with you. We're not gone. We're not gone just because it doesn't look this way and it's different, but we are here. So, and of course, like speaking with someone, if you, if therapy is your lane, if journaling is your lane, because, you know, it takes more, well, for me, than it took more than just the journaling for the grief, like talking about it, talking to other people in my family that experienced it, the losses as well, and asking them about their experience with grief and what that looks like for them and how does that feel for them and how do you process that, and knowing that you aren't alone. And also, I will say again, please comment here, because my intention for this community is that we can talk about anything, especially our emotions, and know that it is okay. I'm looking at this outlet, protected outlet. This is a I know that's motherfucking right. This is a protected outlet. Yes. I know that's right. This is a protected outlet. Like, y'all, because I'm raging against the machine of perfection, where we feel like we have been made to feel like we can't show up and be human and talk about grief, anger, sadness, like all the things, and that you have to show up having your shit together, because ain't nobody got this shit together. So please, like, that is the community that we have here, is where we can talk about all of this stuff in here and we can get it out, because that is such a big part of it, is knowing that we are safe in the getting out of it. And so thank y'all. Thank y'all. Because the ancestor veneration has also been a big part of that for me. Y'all, when I tell you, like the cries and the prayers that I have put out, like, even like, y'all, like, I need a hug. Like, I feel alone. And the way that my ancestors have, like, come and loved on me, man, that shit is phenomenal. It is absolutely phenomenal. And I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for it. And like, anything that tries to distract you away from your ancestors, or demonize your ancestors, or make you feel like, you're like calling the ancestor demons, like, that shit pissed me the fuck off. That shit is whack as fuck. That shit is whack as fuck, and you are the op. Like, anybody that has you thinking that your ancestors are something that should not be looked at anymore, but like, when they were walking on earth, they weren't demons, but then they die and suddenly they're demonic. Like, that shit, if we use critical thinking, that shit don't even make sense. So yeah, like, that, raging against that shit, like, because absolutely not. And that's where our power lies. So anybody that has you going against your power and your bloodline, politely turn that shit off. Politely turn that shit off, because that shit will lead you down a road of destruction. Real shit. And I don't care what the fuck the package looks like. I don't care what no. Anything that will have you distanced away from your power, absolutely the fuck not. Absolutely the fuck not. Like, I feel the rage. I feel the righteous rage coming up against that, because absolutely not. So if you have any questions, if you want to, we talk in here, whatever, you want to share your, that's what this community is here for. I feel like it's not a tangent. I was about to say, I feel like I'm going on a tangent, but I'm not. So if you made it this far, I love y'all. And remember that we are smothered and covered like Waffle House hash browns. That's the best way to get those. I don't eat Waffle House anymore, but back when I did, baby, the Waffle House smothered and covered. And that's what I say about the squad and the ancestors. Like, Can't nobody smother and cover you like that. And remember, and if you don't know, and I'm saying remember because you do know, that you chose the ancestry you did. You chose the bloodlines you did for a specific reason. If you want to learn more about that or y'all want to talk about that, please let me know. But we chose this for a specific reason. So even that's so good, Spirit. Ooh wee. Ooh wee. Because every bloodline has a pattern. Every bloodline has a pattern. Every bloodline has a pattern. So the reason that you chose your bloodlines is because of the patterns and what you are here to learn and to heal and to clear and to teach so that you can come and do what you came to do. That is why you chose your bloodline. And I will mention it again, if you aren't familiar with your Chiron, that really helped me. Like when I learned about the Chiron, and then I was able to, and I'm still doing this actively, but it helped me to start seeing things through the lens of patterns. And I love patterns, like, because patterns are constant. Patterns will be patterns. And if you can spot the pattern without, or shall I say, well, that's how it was for me, able to spot the pattern without, and then using our ancestors to look at the patterns, looking on each side, just analyzing, okay, well, shit. Okay, that seems to be coming up a lot. Okay, now let me look at this side. Oh, well, this seems to be coming up over here. And then going inward and saying, oh, this is showing up within me. So now I can, it's like it's a hint. It's another hint, and it's using, I don't want to say using our ancestors, but using that observation and the pattern recognition to then hone in to help to know like what we are here for. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. No, Chunky, but I love you all. I think maybe we'll talk about pattern recognition, because the best way I can do it is to share how that shows up for me and like draw it out or write it out so that I can like show it to you so that you can use that for yourself if you so desire. But I love you all, and my intention is that this video leaves you more empowered than when you press play. Yeah, I think that's it. See, and this outro thing, I mean, I don't want to just say bye, y'all. Until we meet again, I love you all. Have a wonderful, amazing rest of your day. And I will see you all next time. Bye.